excited to be able to support people who are in for Union Strong. I think I was getting. But the Marines is like lit up.
Okay.
Okay, that's it.
I'll add that to the announcement.
Sir.
You got it.
This is actually I'm gonna say.
Come, whoever you are, whether you're joining us online or in person, whenever the last time you went to church, whomever you love.
And welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Cheyenne, where we are building a community of refuge, where all have equal worth and are invited into spiritual exploration as a foundation for hope, compassionate service, and action.
This is a place where questions are encouraged.
This is a place with room for all of who you are.
This is a place for works in progress.
This is a place for being human together.
Welcome. It's good to be here.
Settle in and exhale. This is a time for community.
So that we can share information about our activities and events and help you find what nourishes your spirit in this community. You'll also find note cards in the pews for writing down joys and sorrows to add to our pastoral prayer. We pass an additional labeled basket alongside the offering to gather these cards. Write your name or leave your joy or sorrow anonymous. You can also write "Do not share" if you have a concern or need to share with the minister, but do not want it spoken aloud in prayer. Another way we create connection and meaning in this community is through the activities and events that happen in our building and community beyond our walls. Let me tell you about a couple of these. First, we're having a garage sale August 12th. We all have too much stuff in our house. So if you'd like to bring that in, it should go on the stage. Now, Marcy Lindy is sort of handling that all by herself, so I'm sure she could use some help. And she's setting up August 11th between 10 and 2. So if you could help Marcy, that would be great. The garage sale itself is Saturday, August 12th between 10 and 2 as well. We need some volunteers. We need volunteers to help mow the lawn. We need volunteers to be on the Share the Plate committee, and we need some greeters. So if you'd be interested in stepping up, please let someone know. You can let me know and I'll pass it on. And the final announcement we have, and Marcy, if I get this wrong, Starbucks on Central is attempting to, the employees are attempting to unionize. And today is Solidarity Day, or Solidarity Sip-In Day. So if you need a cup of coffee, go to Starbucks on Central, and when they ask your name, say Union Strong. And from 1 to 5, the union organizers will be there if you want to stop by and say hi.
Thank you, Paul. We gather both in person and on Zoom as a congregation. It is here that we gather our resources to sustain the work of this church and share our abundance with community organizations to broaden the reach of our values. You can find the address of the Realm app for giving online in your order of service, or your Share the Plate offerings and pledges may also be dropped in the baskets now as they pass, or at the rear of the sanctuary at the end of the service. Our Share the Plate partner the month of July is Juntos. We welcome the words of Antonio Serrano to tell us a little bit about their work.
Thank you. Buenos dias. Thank you for inviting me here. Thank you very much for your generosity. You know, the generosity you guys always show to Juntos and have shown since the very beginning. When we first started, you know, you gave us a home. I'm not sure how many folks know that, but that downstairs there's a room, and it was a kid's room at the time. I'm not sure if it still is, but that's where we organized. That's where we met every month. That's where we planned how we were going to try and stop a prison from being built. That's where we planned how to set up a rapid response network to help immigrant families across the state, which we were successful at. We had 100 volunteers spread out. It was organized in your guys' basement. We planned Know Your Rights trainings to help immigrant families. We had Know Your Rights trainings here. You've always given us a place that we feel safe, a place that we feel welcome. And it's been important to us growing as a nonprofit and growing as an organization and just a group of people who care, you know. And now we have members in Casper. We have people hosting legal clinics on our team. So we had a legal clinic recently where 20 families were able to get legal advice from immigration attorneys free of charge. And you guys helped put us on that road to do those things for people. That's all the things that you have done for us have meant a lot, especially the sanctuary stuff. So there was a person who needed that help when it was a really scary time, when people like my family, my friends, felt like the world was hunting them down. And you protected them. You brought them here. You didn't leave them alone. You always were eating dinner with them, watching TV with them. You were there for them. And that is something that I'm eternally grateful to you all for being there for my people. That was huge, but that's not even the biggest thing. Something that you all do that I don't know if you realize this, and I'm going to share a story to kind of explain that. So when Reverend Hannah was here, we had a march on Good Friday to bring awareness to the prison we were trying to stop at the time. At that moment, I was struggling a lot personally with my faith, my beliefs, and something more out there. I was also struggling with my depression. It was a hard time. And there's been a lot of times where I've gotten to that line, really close to it. That day, it was especially heavy. I didn't want to be out there. I was just didn't have anything in me, but I went because it's the job. And Reverend Hannah and Roger McDaniel were giving blessings. And I was trying to shy away from things like that because I was struggling to believe that there was something out there. And Reverend Hannah asked me if she could give me one. And I said, okay, what the heck, let's go for it, you know? And what she said to me, sorry, y'all, she made me feel seen. She made me feel like she could see my pain, like she could see my struggle. She was there for me. That's what y'all do. You make us feel seen. You make us feel seen without judgment. You make us feel welcome. And I can't tell you thank you enough for everything you have done for us and for me. Thank you.
Music arises from depths unknown, often without words, never without meaning. And spirit rises from deep within, seducing my body to join the song. First, a tremor in the soul, then tapping of toes, breath aligns with breath. Heart beats in syncopation, and a stuttered buzz in my throat becomes a hum. Breath with breath and beat with beat, and music and spirit arise together, wed with faith and hope and love and power. A song is born bursting from my lips in a sweet, sonorous symphony, a melody joining with other souls, perhaps in tune, perhaps not, but a song still, arising from deep within and from community. Spirit moves, soul births song, and hope fills life, and I am not alone. How can I keep from singing? And so for our opening hymn, may I invite you to open your gray hymnals and rise in body or in spirit, joining in singing hymn number 108, My Life Flows On.
Hails a new creation, through all the tumult and the strife. I hear the music ringing, its sounds an echo in my soul. How can I keep from singing? What though the tempest round me roars? I know the truth it liveth. What through the darkness round me glows? Songs in the night it giveth. No storm can shake my inmost calm, while to that rock I'm clinging, since love prevails in heaven and earth. How can I keep from singing when tyrants tremble as they hear the bells of freedom ringing, when friends rejoice both far and near? How can I keep from singing? To prison cell and dungeon vile, our thoughts to them are winging, when friends by shame are undefiled. How can I keep from singing?
May we hear the melody of life and find ourselves singing harmony. May we be open to the dissonances in the song of the land and its people, that we might be part of the world's urgings toward justice, peace, and love. May we feel in our bones the rhythm of life and the land, and find ourselves dancing. Now, if the young and young at heart would like to join us on the chancel at this time, we invite you to share in the leadership of speaking our covenant in unison before the time for all ages.
Hey, Abby.
Thank you.
As you know, we are our covenant.
Love is the spirit of this church, and service its cause. This is our covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth, and to help others.
All right, let me grab a microphone so everybody can hear me. All right. So, today's worship, we're talking about music. And how many people out there like to listen to music? Yeah, quite a lot of us. There are lots of kinds of music. Music for different purposes. Sometimes here in this church, we have music of praise or thanksgiving, music that lifts up and praises God, or that notices and gives gratitude to the sacred. Other songs, a lot of songs on the radio might be a way to tell someone you love them, or to pump you up for dancing and having a good time. Yeah. So, what purposes for music do people notice in their lives?
Fun.
Music for fun, for happiness, for relaxation. Music for strength.
Community.
Music for building community, yes. Yeah. Appreciation of beauty.
Music of life.
Yeah, music of life, just music all the time. For motivation, for celebration. Yeah. And sometimes I use music for lament or for grief, to stir my heart when I'm holding down emotions. One of my favorite kinds of music, though, is the music that creates change. Music that brings courage, or music that tells you a story about a problem or about a way to fix something in the world. Music that asks people to come out and resist an unfair situation. And the song earlier that we sung, in that third verse especially, has some about that, yeah? When tyrants tremble as they hear the bells of freedom ringing. Way, way back in the 1800s, when the fugitive slave law was going into effect, the law that said if you found a Black person in the South who you thought had escaped slavery, you would have to return them to the South to be enslaved again. Many, many people of faith joined together on something called the Underground Railroad, shepherding people secretly all the way to Canada. But it was said in the UU Church, which was just the Unitarian church at the time, that in Boston the bells could not ring for freedom because they were stuffed with cotton. because the North was profiting off of the South through their shipping and ports. Unitarians had a lot of deep discussions about this. We've gotten better. Not perfect, but better. But isn't that an interesting metaphor? You couldn't hear the music of those bells because profit had been placed over the human spirit. And so that is why we sing, why we play music often, to remind our hearts that there's something bigger than profits, that there's the human spirit, and that we together can make change, can take stands, can make sure that people are the most important. So, I would like us to try something that's called a zipper song. Zipper songs are called that because they're the same throughout, except for one little line that you unzip and stick new words in and zip it up again. So they change just a little every time, but then they repeat and are easy to learn and sing together. And so this is a traditional way that you'll hear in gospel songs from the Black tradition. You'll hear in the civil rights movement in Appalachian folk music, and all the way back to European folk music from long, long ago. So one of the songs that I really like is called "We Shall Not Be Moved." And some of you might know it. It was used in the civil rights era. It's used currently in environmental movements and in racial justice work. And it goes a little like this. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Just like a tree that's planted by the waters. We shall not be moved. And then the first line changes and the second line stays the same. So, together we'll have freedom. We shall not be moved. Together we'll have freedom. We shall not be moved. Just like a tree that's planted by the waters. We shall not be moved. All right. Do we want to put in some other words? We could sing something like "all of us together," or "people of all races," or what do you think? All of us together, we shall not be moved. With all of us together, we shall not be moved. Just like a tree that's planted by the water, we shall not be moved. And we can even sing this song in other languages. Have you ever heard this song in Spanish? No. All right. So, juntos, unidos, we shall not be moved. Juntos y unidos, we shall not be moved. Just like a tree that's planted by the waters, we shall not be moved. And now you all are ready for a protest march. You got at least one song and chant ready to go.
Yes.
Yeah, so thank you for helping me talk about music that changes us. If you'll join me in a spirit of prayer. Spirit of life and of love and of all creation, be with us today. We gather with one another today, as we do each week, hoping to support one another through times of strife and trouble, to be a comfort in the hard moments, to celebrate the joys and excitement of all that is good, to dwell together in the wonder and mystery of this magnificent and ever-changing life. And so today, we hold in our hearts and send healing thoughts to Andy Aldrich, who has been in the hospital recently with some cardiac issues. We send our loving thoughts for healing and well-being to Wes, a friend of this church, who's struggling with back pain. We hold in our hearts those struggling with grief and with loss. And we celebrate with those who are finding joy in Frontier Days and in the opportunity for a rodeo. We hold hope that this may be a chance for community to come together. We hold also in our hearts all those who are having a hard time with mental and emotional health in the face of attacks on the GLBTQ community. Those who fear they may not be wanted here. May we fight with all our strength to make sure that we ever expand a bubble of safety and well-being to hold them tenderly. May we hold our acknowledgement, our thanks, even in the height of summer, for the heat and the light of the sun, reminding us that the world is ever unfolding and blossoming and pointing us toward growth. And yet, may we hold in our circle of concern all that is changing in our climate. May we remember to be thankful for the plants, the trees, and all life, as it is intertwined inescapably. And may we too hold room in our hearts for the joys too new to share and the sorrows too tender to be spoken aloud. May we find in this space a comfort and peace and community that enfolds us in love. Amen, and blessed be.
The ancient Greek philosopher Pythagoras taught that the universe was composed entirely of numbers, and numbers corresponded to music. So the entire universe, all of reality, including us, was composed of numbers and music. The 7 planets of the ancient world each resonated a frequency outward into the universe. There is an image of a 19th century depiction of that musica universalis, or harmony of the spheres, where each planet is a different note on the musical scale. Their music was not something that could be heard audibly, but their cosmic vibration, the resonance, could impact us as all music could. Pythagoreans believed that music purified and nourished our souls, keeping us spiritually healthy in the same way exercise and nutrition does for our body. I invite you to contemplate, what music do you need to purify or nourish your soul right now? Do you need a peppy tune to make you smile and dance? Perhaps you need a love ballad to celebrate a love in your life. Or do you need a sad song to speak to you about the loss in your life? Maybe you need a dirge to help you grieve and mourn a tragedy or a loss. Or do you need a happy song to help you celebrate an aspect of your life? Do you need a cacophony of noise to rattle you into a new awareness? Perhaps you need a calm lullaby to bring you to peace and serenity. As we enter into this silence, I invite you to consider a song that is speaking to you at this moment. Imagine it is resonating within you, but also outward in all directions, bringing your resonance to those next to you, then to the people next to them, outward until it fills this room, connecting you with everyone else, communicating where you are today. May our collective silence bring harmony to ourselves and everyone in our orbit.
The hills are alive with the sound of music, with songs they have sung for 1,000 years. The hills fill my heart with the sound of music. My heart wants to sing every song it hears. My heart wants to beat like the wings of the birds that rise from the lake to the trees. My heart wants to sigh like a chime that flies from a church on a breeze, to laugh like a brook as it trips and falls over stones on its way, to sing through the night like a lark who is learning to pray. I go to the hills when my heart is lonely. I know I will hear what I've heard before. My heart will be blessed with the sound of music, and I
Thank you. So humans have been making music probably as long as we've had vocal cords or social groupings, as long as we've had the capacity for rhythm. Music probably predates our actual classification as Homo sapiens. The oldest bone flutes we have found are over 40,000 years old. But the idea of moving to a beat is not even unique to humanity. Birds, insects like fireflies, demonstrate their athleticism and health and find mates through music, through movement and light pulses that happen at a set tempo. Many species of birds and whales and others use songs, not simply sounds for essential communication, but sounds for joy as a tool for beauty and community building, for play. They seem to sing for the pure joy of the sound. And so today, as we speak to songs, to music as spiritual practice, as a change agent, what I want to focus on is not how unique the creation of music is, but how we utilize song, how it speaks to our minds and our hearts, how it can create an avenue for unlocking feelings, some that we may not be able to touch in other ways. Music for humanity brings us together with social feelings, mixes poetry and tonal artistry. It's a way to connect our brain's desire to make meaning, to find logical understandings of the world, with our body's desire to simply move and feel. Through music, the vibrations of the spirit can draw us deeper into connection with our values, or through our fears toward courage. It can open our hearts. An early Christian leader, John Chrysostom, noted the power of song, saying, "Nothing so arouses the soul, gives it wings, sets it free from earth, releases it from the prison of the body, teaches it to love wisdom and to condemn all the things of this life as concordant melody and sacred song." I was speaking of the ability to detach from the mundane and the material, to join together in the melodies and harmonies of the higher world of the spirit. Songs are ancient. In the Hebrew text, there's an entire section simply devoted to music. And you've probably seen it before, but maybe not recognized. The Book of Psalms is in fact an ancient hymnal. Its Psalms and Proverbs both come from the writings, which are literally called the writings in the Tanakh, in the Torah, and the prophets and the writings. And it's like our gray hymnal. Psalms and Proverbs go together as a collection of shared songs and poetics, appropriate to a variety of seasons and moods and festival times that build on one another in movements. The hymns contained in that book have been attributed variously, sometimes to King David or to other biblical figures like Asaph or the sons of Korah or Solomon, who also became king. They were more probably the creation of a whole host of authors over a period of almost 4,000 years between the 9th and 5th centuries before the Common Era. But what that means is when we look to the book of Psalms, you're looking at a collection of tunes and lyrics that were shared for generations, and then finally compiled and edited into written form about 6,000 or 7,000 years ago, after some of them had been sung for as many as 4,000 years already. They were maintained all that time because music builds community. Music stirs us and helps us to remember lessons we need, gives us space for praise and for lament. What a wonder, and what a loss to realize that this entire book is forever incomplete because we will never know the original tunes that completed that poetry written so long ago. And yet, current songwriters still use clips of those translated lyrics to inspire even today's pop Christian music. And such is the power. Music connects us past to present and brings into the present our hopes for the future. It unites us in communion with others across time and space through our hopes for a life of meaning. What's amazing to me is how much of a span of time music can hold meaning. The oldest hymn that has a tune and can be played today is from a region that is now part of Syria, once settled by the Hurrians. And Hurrian hymn number 6, found on a clay tablet, was translated with lyrics and instructions for playing on a lyre, a type of harp. The lyrics say, "When I have endeared the deity to myself, she will love me in her heart, and the offering I bring may wholly cover my mistakes. Bringing sesame oil may work on my behalf in awe. The sterile may they bring forth, and grain may they bring forth, and she, the wife, will bear children, and may she who has not borne children yet bear them." And although today our understandings of fertility have shifted and we grow different crops, we might not bring sesame oil to lay on the altar. Most of us aren't farmers, but there's a familiarity here in our own joys and concerns, our prayers for the people. We still sing of the longing for healthy future generations, the hope to restore our mistakes, to do better in the future. We sing in hopes of finding love and growth and purpose, much as that long ago creator of the praise hymn to the goddess Nikal did. We hope together, and so it is that music connects us. The power of song may connect us to ancestors. How many of you remember a lullaby that Grandma used to hum at night while closing up the window shades? Or a guitar or banjo that recalls you to a summer on the porch with a family? Or, for me, a Rafi song like Baby Beluga that brings me back to my very own first cassette player from Fisher-Price. Some of you might instead be remembering putting Johnny Horton on the record player or laughing to Victor Borge's hilarious renditions of classical tunes on the television in the evenings. Or maybe you're somewhere in between. But music opens space in the heart for nostalgia, for grief, for memories. And the power of song connects us to one another here and now. When an earworm catches you, a commercial jingle, for me, again, it's the 80s. There's that Double Mint gum commercial. And some of you go, oh yeah, I know exactly what jingle you're talking about. Or it could be a theme song from the television. Fraggle Rock, Sesame Street. How many people can tell me how to get to Sesame Street? It might be a pop song like the Macarena, and everybody knows how to do the Macarena. Macarena. If you're Jewish, you might dance the hora. If you're country, maybe it's the electric slide. Whatever it is, it gives you a dance that everyone in your family or your tradition knows how to move in unison at weddings and celebrations. Or maybe it's a pop song or a protest song, a gospel hymn bringing you together with others to work for a better place. Music reaches out like hands connecting us through the poetics of our dreaming. And so it is that the power of song connects us to the universe. Madeleine L'Engle wrote in A Swiftly Tilting Planet that Charles Wallace realized that the galaxy itself was part of a mighty orchestra, that each star and planet within the galaxy added its own instrument to the music of the spheres. As long as the ancient harmonies were sung, the universe would not entirely lose its joy. It comforts me to know that there are things larger than myself, perhaps for you as well. The reminder that there are harmonics and reverberations, vibrations, and twirling and dance happening on a scale that is nearly unimaginably large and long. And yet, beyond our own lifetimes, that there is a dance happening and that we are connected to a larger story, to a larger song, far beyond the short span of a lifetime. So the power of song becomes a conduit to the future, imparting values to our children, bringing us hope and courage to create a world that's hospitable for the future. When we sing, we are building a new way, feeling stronger every day. What we begin to do is to set our intentions and choose to make it so. So music moves us from past to future and from isolation to a connectedness in all things. And we, as Unitarian Universalists, are recalled to that classic saying by Louis Fisher, who said, Universalists are often asked to tell where they stand. And the only true answer to give to this question is that we do not stand at all. We move. We move. And sometimes we dance. So what I'm asking of you in this coming week, in the coming month, try making music a part of your daily practice if it is not already. And hear it with intention, and choose it with intention. For music has the power to shape and change us, to set us in our courses and align us with the rhythm of the stars. From the sound of music that reminds us to be a part of what is good and just, to even new country songs or parodies that tell us that a small town doesn't have to mean an intolerant town or one unwelcoming of difference. From old gospel songs that pointed northward to freedom, gave courage to those moving forward through hope, to songs of today, telling stories of empowerment and joy. I urge you to find your beat, to dance, to share your music and listen to the songs that others hold dear. Martha and the Vandellas once told people that summer was a time for dancing in the streets. And it sparked a summer of uprisings, part of making significant headway toward racial integration in many cities across the United States. If a Motown dance number recorded in 1965 can do that, what might your voice, raised in joyful melody, have the power to create? What might happen if you chose to dance and to move and to invite people to come along with you? So bring your people, know your roots, find your song, and be a blessing to the world. We'll close with hymn number 1059 in your teal hymnal, May Your Life Be As a Song, and we'll sing 3 times through. Please remain standing as we extinguish our chalice flame and speak the words together in our order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry within our hearts until we're together again. And so let us go out into the world singing songs that proclaim liberty, songs that turn ashes into garlands, songs that bind up the afflicted and all those who mourn, songs that, like oaks, have roots that go deep and stand strong. Let us go out into the world singing the songs we know that vibrate through time into our very souls. The songs that give us life and meaning and purpose. Now it is our turn to take those life-giving songs out into the world. And may the world join us in praise and in celebration and in love. Blessed be and amen.
Thank you, Billy.